Welcome back to Off Guard. I'm your host, Austin Rivers, along with my co-host, Pausha Hagigi. We are back, as always. Hope everybody's doing well, my guy. What's on the menu today? What are we getting into?
We talked about him on the pod before, Cade Cunningham. I wanted to bring up the last two games. He's had double-digit turnovers.
He's a stud.
Right. Would you want to get another ball? They have no other creators or ball handlers
They
really
need
on their
everything.
team. But I'm saying specifically for him and his development, because I don't want him to have 10 turnovers in a game or anything like that. You want to develop bad habits and have it all on him, even though he's playing amazing this year. Do you think they should bring another ball handler? Like a Mike Conley type would be really good for a guy like Cade Cunningham.
You don't have to go get a star. Just go get someone who's already proven, whose value is a little bit less because he may be older, but he can still play.
Yeah.
So, that's why, even though he was even older at the time, that's why the Suns brought in Chris Paul.
Yeah.
That's why.
Or even when he was on the Thunder, what he did for Shea, I'm sure.
Shea and even Schroeder, they had a plethora of guys who could dribble. They still needed something like that. Spurs brought him in. We need as much playmaking as we can get. So that's why they brought him in. But it's always okay to bring another ball handler, especially when you only have really one right now. Cade is so much better than what we all thought he was. He had a good rookie year last year.
Injured a lot, though. Yeah.
Then he injured. He missed the first year. So people just kind of like.
And the story was about how bad Detroit was. It was never about Cade.
The team was so bad. He never got any attention. And then now they're winning some games. And we're seeing this guy like, oh, wait, he's not like a all-star. This guy could be a superstar.
Yeah.
This guy's like really good. So now I said the same thing with San Antonio. That cushion room for developing a team is now speeding up. Okay, we got a ball player. We got to put something together, because what happens is in a couple of years he's gonna be like, I'm out of here. So now you got to start tailoring some shit around this guy. We got to start putting some talent around Detroit. That'd be a team like if they got fucking Cooper, unbelievable. Putting him next to him, like that's what I want. I don't want him going to Utah and they don't have anybody else. I want Cade and Cooper, and then you got Durant and you got the Thompson twin flying around there. Now we got this athletic young team. Detroit's exciting to watch. Now we got some fans in the building.
Yeah.
That's what I want.
You said it best. Cade this year proved, he's one of those guys. The
playmaking can open his game. It's open his game.
I want to talk about number one picks overall. Over the years, we know all of them. And Cade, I looked at as a certain kind of number one pick. Like, okay, that was a good pick. And now I'm looking at it a little differently. Like, okay, he's a stud. He was worthy of the number one pick.
Yeah.
When you line up all the number one picks, there's different classes, right? There's like your Blake Griffins and your Elton Brands. These guys were like, okay, these are really, really good. Going to probably be Hall of Fame guys or something like that. All-stars every year. Then you have like an Andrew Wiggins type that's like, he's good, but he wasn't, he's not like very, very good. He's somewhere in the middle. Your John Walls. Where would you line up Cooper in this mix? Would you say he's 100% going to be multi-all-star? Like as far as number one picks go?
I think Cooper will be a multi-all-star, yeah. I think he'll fit right in with the top picks. I think he's a top pick worthy guy. I don't think he's going to be a guy that we look back at 6 years from now and be like, that's the best we got.
Yeah.
Like, what was Andrew Wiggins?
Andrew Wiggins is number one pick.
Number one pick. Like, Andrew Wiggins is solid.
Like, would you feel, he's not a bust?
No, Andrew Wiggins isn't a bust.
Right, but he's not.
Absolutely not.
So he's like this middle ground, I would say, right?
He's in the middle ground. Andrew Wiggins is nowhere near a bust.
Right,
Come on, man. That's just I
was saying that to make
silly.
my point that
but he's in the middle ground.
Range,
he was a good number one pick. He wasn't a great one.
Yeah.
Like Zion Williams right now is a good one. Yes, sir.
It's a tricky one.
No,
when he plays, he's so good, but he's not unavailable.
Play. The best skill you can have is availability. So I don't really give a fuck what he could do when he plays. He don't play a lot, so I don't really give a shit. As of right now, if you had to grade, if you were a New Orleans GM, what has Zion done for the Pelicans right now? What would you grade him right now?
You would rather draft John Morant? Yeah.
It's not close.
Okay, so
that's my point. Okay, come on.
Well, the NBA has...
No. If Zion plays, let me just make this clear because I don't want to put that out there. If Zion plays...
He's a number one pick talent.
He's a number one pick talent. If Zion played 75 games a year, we wouldn't be having this conversation.
No, we'd be talking about him as far as up there with the Blakes and
100%.
Yes.
This isn't a Zion slight thing. This is just an availability issue thing. So that's why I'm grading him a B-level number one pick. If he was available, Zion's a stud by any measure.
Anthony Davis is right up there with those big top guys too. Obviously,
come on, man.
I'm just trying to name the guys that are up here, and then there's some middle ground
Davis,
too.
John Wall.
Well, we had three. So we had Cade, we had Anthony Edwards, Cade, and Paolo, 3 in a row. 3 really good number one picks in a row. So the NBA was doing it.
Paolo's a stud. That's a superstar.
And Wembanyama.
Cade, Victor,
and Risa Shea was a bad draft, but he looks like he might be able to turn into something.
Yes, he could. It's too early.
It's so early.
It's his first year, so like we're far from like judging him.
Yeah,
no doubts yet. But as of right now, he would be in the middle ground.
Yeah,
he's not a bad pick. He's not a bust. He's none of those things. But he's not what John Morant looked like coming out of his rookie year, or he's not number one pick. But he's not like
no one from that class is really right now. So
that's what I'm saying. You saw Anthony Edwards, you're like, wow. That's what number one looks like. You know what I mean? You saw like Kyrie. And you were like, holy shit, this guy is going to be unbelievable. Yeah. So we haven't seen that yet. but he's too early.
I thought that Michael Beasley should have went ahead of Derrick Rose. I thought he should have been the number one pick, and Derrick Rose came out and was just like,
yeah. So
but Michael Beasley was. Remember him in college? I was like, this guy's got to be the number one.
I don't know
pick.
anybody that would have took, and you could say whatever you want. There wasn't a lot of people taking anybody over Beasley. Beasley was
but Chicago getting the number one pick, and Derrick Rose was like, that's why it went that way.
Yeah, for sure. Because in college, Beasley was unbelievable at Kansas State, and in high school he was unbelievable. But Derrick Rose's potential was just so through the roof that, and being a Chicago pick, you probably had to pick him number one, and it worked out pretty well. He was, again, MVP. That's the best case scenario.
Yeah.
John Wall, 6-7-time All-Star.
I think John Wall's he's face of your franchise, one of the biggest names in the NBA. That's like an awesome number one pick.
That's not he's not middle ground. He's on the upper tier. We're not doing this thing with John Wall that people like to do.
No.
People like to do this thing with John because it ended the way it did with him, and like he got old, he had injury. We're not,
Yeah.
I played against John all throughout his prime in the NBA. He was like a 6-7-time All-Star. I remember him splitting the pick and doing a 360 layup. He was the first 360 layup guy. Yeah. Him and J.R. Smith used to do that 360 layup all the time. Dude he's on the upper echelon of number one picks. Is he as good as an Anthony Davis or as a Kyrie? No, but he's still up there.
Yeah. Like when you worked out with him last year, he seemed like he was in a really good place though.
He was. I think he was hoping to play basketball. I don't think it was a thing that if he didn't, it would crush him.
Yeah.
For one, he's made enough money. He's going to be able to do whatever he want. I know this because I'm there. And I didn't make a fraction of what he made.
Yeah.
I know I'm comfortable. So God knows what that guy's got going on. All right. You know what I mean? He's got a 200 from DC. The one before that, I think, was like 140.
Yeah, they said he had some Reebok in the beginning, right? Then he had Adidas, yeah.
He's at least grossed around 280, 300 mil. So you cut that in half with taxes, spending. He's got at least 80, 90 in the bank, something like that. I'm pocket watching right now.
Yeah,
but
a little bit.
He's fine. So I think he was set into that. And he has his kids who are growing up, Deuce. He's got all of his, he's got a lot of good things going on for me down in South Florida. So I think he was ready to move on. But he's like, man, I still got game I can play. And that's what he was holding on to, like all of us. I'm putting John, if we got this half of picks that are and this pack of number one picks that are like, that turned out, John turned out. He did his thing.
Yeah.
Valid. So they mostly do. I mean, you have your busts, very rare for a number one pick. You got your Anthony Bennett's, you got your, some mix.
Anthony Bennett was very similar to this draft where it was really tough, right? The best player was Giannis, who was like the 15th pick or something. You know what I mean? Like, it was really hard to figure out.
It was a shake and a draw draft. No one knew.
Oladipo went too.
Yeah, like no one knew what was going to happen and who was going to turn out. And that's like Anthony Bennett honestly wrongfully got like put on a pedestal that he didn't really deserve and want to be on. Yeah. Anthony Bennett goes pick number 30 and is a purposeful pick and roll, pick and pop player. He probably could have played 8-9 years in the league, but he went somewhere and was supposed to be the man. You made the reference to Aaron Gordon. You went to Orlando and John Hammond or whoever drafted him at the time dropped the ball down on him and told him to be a scorer, and it looked nasty. He goes to Denver and becomes one of the best role players in the NBA. So it's all about fit and all these different things. Again, we're getting back into that.
Where does DeAndre Ayton rank on these number one picks? Because
he's in the middle towards the back end.
Okay.
Yeah, he hasn't. Come on, man. He looked good in Phoenix for a couple years with Chris, and then after that, Portland's been.
Is he next to Andrea Bargnani for you?
Yeah, he's like up there. Yeah, he's not a bust.
No.
DeAndre Ayton by no means is a bust.
It just doesn't look good right now. Even though the Blazers teams, they're like really competitive right now.
They are.
Weirdly,
they scrap. Chauncey does a pretty good job with that team that has very mediocre talent. You got to give him credit for that.
Yeah. And Scoot's been playing better. We have to say it because we kind of bashed him in the beginning when he wasn't.
We didn't bash him.
We
just
didn't
called
bash him, but we
called it for what it is.
Called for what it is. He's playing better.
He is playing better.
Which makes me think you got to trade Ann Simons because maybe, what do you think?
Someone's got to go.
Someone's got to get too much.
I wouldn't call him any stretch of the imagination. Is he a bust? Is he a star? No, never close. So he's in the middle pack of number one picks to back end because 90% of number one picks end up being a star, bro. You got like at the bottom, you got like the Anthony Bennett's, the Kwame Browns. Then at the top, you got the Anthony Davis, Kyrie Irving's, Anthony Edwards.
I won't talk bad about Kwame.
And then that
guy comes out and
then you got. I don't know, he could say whatever he wants. He was the number one pick in the draft, so whatever. And then you have, I would say, Ayton in the middle towards that way. He's not this way. You know what I mean? Andrew Wiggins is in the middle towards that way, towards like the topper half. He's like inching this way. Ayton's in the middle of the number one picks inching towards the other way, in my opinion. Could be wrong, but that's how I feel. But yeah, I think the theme for today's episode is fit. I think that's a good thing for people in life to know, man. You know, sometimes it's not about who you think you are or who you want to be. Sometimes it's about like where you need to be right now is the best fit. Maybe through that, you can end up being what you wanted to be in the first place. Sometimes you have to take step by step. You just don't get to jump to where you want. You want all the freedom in the world, but none of the responsibility. You want all the freedom in the world, but you're not willing to take step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. The more you fail, the more you succeed. Be a role player in life. 99% of you, that's what you are. That's what I am. That's only allowed me to do the things I've done. I was a star growing up. People, oh, you're an all-star. People claimed me to be a bust because I never became a superstar. With that mindset, I would have been out the league in 3 or 4 years. Even if I played for the Clippers with my father, I would have panned out if I wasn't able to show that I was able to play with Chris Paul and Blake Griffin and be an actual pro. That's why DC traded for me. That's why the Nuggets signed me. That's why the Knicks signed me. That's why Minnesota signed me. Because I was proven a vet, pro player. That's why I played over a decade in the NBA in the greatest league in the world. Know your role. So listen, man, you don't want to take my advice. Keep doing your stuff. I'm not saying that you're not a star. Some people might be right out there. You might be. I'm not trying to stunt your growth. If anything, I'm just trying to give you a better strategic path to get to where you want to get. So that's my advice. Take it for what it's worth.